I have a message here that has been sitting in my inbox for a few days, and I wanted to talk about it. Excuse me sounding the most nasally. I don't know what's happening. For some reason, the whole inside of my face is swollen. What questions did you ask yourself to get to your gender identity? Because I'm kind of questioning myself now, and I don't even know where to begin. Well, holy crap, that's a big question. Thank you for asking it. I think it's a good thing that you've asked that for yourself. But wow. The short answer is that I can't tell you how to do this. I can't. It would be irresponsible of me to do that. I can't ever speak for anyone else's truth except for my own. You know, that's pretty much my whole shtick, is I really can only speak for myself. I can do my best to suggest ways to maybe avoid some of the errors that I've made in my life. I can try to do that, but I can't give you the guidebook, if that makes any sense. So with that in mind, let's try and do what I just said that I try to do. Obviously, this question is about gender identity, which is something that is obviously relevant to me. And it's relevant to a lot of people, but it's not relevant to everybody. But I want this to be a video that is about everybody. Something that's really important for me as I'm kind of navigating who I am in this world is the idea that even though my experience is pretty specific into the queer world, my experience is a very human one. As we all grow up and learn who we are and learn the things that we love and are passionate about and that we go through, we're all asking ourselves questions, and we're all hopefully answering those questions honestly and over time slowly actualizing ourselves. I don't think that's unique to queer people. I don't think that's unique to trans people. I think that's something that we all can do. I often talk about asking questions and answering them honestly. And I'll admit that it might be frustrating because I never tell you what those questions are. But again, I can't really tell you what those questions are. I don't seek out or employ any kind of specific methodology, you know, in my day-to-day life that help me resolve issues or overcome things. I don't do that because that feels contrived. Something I think that can be deliberate is simply your intention. My intention all the time is that I want to be open to the world and what it is I'm actually experiencing. That's something that has taken me a lot of time to do. I think so much of my experience personally has been based around fear. Fear of disappointing a father figure, fear of just doing something incorrectly and having it affect my standing socially in a negative way. I have always been scared of everything, not just the things that feel right and good for me. I've been scared of everything my entire life. And I oftentimes have felt the most scared of the things that have felt right and the things that have felt like me. You know, and I think part of that fear comes from just the knowledge that if I acknowledge that this is something that feels right and good, I can't ignore it anymore. I have to continue and I have to do something with this. And sometimes that means it's going to create more problems in my life, and that's terrifying. In order to ask the questions and answer them honestly, I think first we not necessarily have to get over and get rid of the fear. I think in so many ways that's impossible. You know, it's really hard to overcome childhood programming when it comes to things. But I think it comes from this feeling of safety that we all want, whether that's with friends, family, pets, any sort of thing in your life that makes you feel safe. I think that is a great first step to start with. If somebody doesn't feel safe, it's really hard for them to be honest. And I say that in like a third person, but I'm really speaking from a first person. If I don't feel safe, I cannot be myself. And I am nowhere near as good or as accurate or as honest as I could be because I don't feel safe. I think I'm going to boil my answer to this question down to a simple two-part methodology that I think is something that we all can work on. Step one is find your safety. Obviously, there's a lot of things in our lives that are outside of our control. the way people interact with us, the way people deal with us, the way people handle our hearts. I think that's something that that's always going to be outside of our control. But what do we do have control over? Whether it's a routine, whether it's your friends, whether it's the way that you engage with the world around you, do the things that make you feel safe and make you feel whole. Those kinds of, draw yourself towards those things. And the second part for me is kind of, it's seemingly paradoxical to the first step, and it's push your comfort zone. Essentially, live. I spent the first 19, 20 years of my life hiding from every single kind of question about myself. I was hiding from them. I was doing everything I could to distract myself from actually asking any kind of question about who I am and what it is that I like. I was kind of forced out of my comfort zone, but I think in some ways it was the best thing that ever happened to me. Ever since then, and I haven't done this perfectly, but ever since then, I've been committed to kind of pushing myself further and further outside of my comfort zone, expanding my bubble into something that I can be proud of and call a complete life. The questions that I ask myself are born out of experience. You know, it's not just something that I can sit and ponder and then come to some sort of realization about who it is that I actually am and what it is that I feel about myself and my identity and my expression and all those things. That can't be done in a vacuum. I really didn't interact with queer people until 2014, 2015. I'm 25 years old and I feel like I'm just getting started with who I am as a person. That's not to say that I'm late to the party. There really is no timeline on all of this, but I think it's a direct result of actually going out into the world and experiencing it. And when that's done from a platform of safety, of feeling confident and feeling secure in your surroundings and the people around you, you can give that an honest attempt and you can experience a lot more than maybe you could have if you didn't have that safety. So that's what I think. I'm sorry I didn't have any specific questions for you to ask, but again, I don't think it would be responsible of me to give you a blueprint of how to figure out who you are because it really only works in a really personal way. And I never want to influence how somebody sees themselves. I want them to figure it out for themselves. And for me, that's empowering people to get there is exciting and something that I want to be a part of. I had a thought recently that made me a little sad. I'll admit, but in the end, it was a net good feeling. I was thinking about how scared I've been of my identity and of my expression and of the way that I look and move through this world and the way that people perceive me. I was walking home the other night and a group of kids were just straight up laughing at me because I was really femme. Straight up, they were just laughing at me. There was a really kind stranger that told them off. Thank you, kind stranger. And of course I was upset personally, but I think in a more metaphysical sense, I was upset. When it comes to anybody figuring out who they are and how they want to walk through this world, regardless of if that's queerness or whatever, your passion, your career, what you want to make creatively, that should be nothing except a beautiful experience. When I'm listening to somebody talk about themselves or something that they've realized or something that they're working on, something that they're passionate about, there's stars in my eyes. There's nothing I enjoy more in this life than sitting and listening to someone just be themselves as they navigate this world. That is something that is just profoundly beautiful to me. It does break my heart a little bit that this is something that is a lot of times a really difficult process. But for me, that does not detract from the beauty of it. One of the reasons I love what we've done here on the internet so much is exactly that. I'm on the camera talking about all of these thoughts and feelings or whatever and very physically have changed over the years here, but I feel like we've all evolved together and I love that so much. I know for every single person out here how hard being yourself is. It's hard. It's not something that's easy. And I'm so proud of everyone that is giving it an honest and earnest attempt in whatever way that they're doing. It's inspiring to me. It empowers me to do it myself. And it's something that I find, again, to be extremely, extremely beautiful. So to the person that sent me this message, to anybody watching this who might be having some doubts or some concerns or some fears about who they are and who they want to be in this world, I just want you to know, number one, I'm right there with you. And number two, I love you because this is a mutual situation that we have going on here. And it's something that I cherish. It's something that I treasure. It's something that I love. And I just know that we're all gonna be okay. We are. We're gonna be okay. And that's something that I know. I don't believe. I don't think. I know it. I know it. So that's all I gotta say about that. Thank you so much for watching this. If you have any thoughts, please leave them in the comments down below. I love you all so much, and I love reading your thoughts. I love kind of getting little glimpses into who y'all are. Again, it's something I find to be extremely cool. Click somewhere on the screen in that direction if you want to see some of my last videos and stuff. If you want to check me out on Patreon, it's one of the first links in the description as well. Would appreciate if you check that out. There's a bonus video going up on there as well. I love you a lot. And yeah, thanks for being part of all this. All right, I'm gonna go.